This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by AuthorU and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, it's a fabulous day in authorland as we go through this. We're in the heart of January. It's been freezing cold in Colorado, my home base, and although we had some nice weather this week, but it's still cold, and we're in the heart of winter. But we have got a hot topic today. It's been a hot topic actually for a couple of years for authors and writers, and we've done a few shows on it. My guest is a return guest because it's critical, it's evolving, there's changes. I've had the pleasure of working with several of my authors in creating crowdfunding programs that have been successful and overfunded, and they have been able to create the entire production and printing of their books and really launching them into another area that many of them are saying, okay, I'm ready to look at another one. So with me today is Amanda Barber, who is with PubSlush. And what's unique about PubSlush is they are totally dedicated and supportive of the author. They don't do anything else. They're about literary works and getting your book out there. So Barbara is a philanthropist at heart. She serves on the board of directors for the PubSlush Foundation, which supports children's literacy initiatives worldwide. And she's also founder and director of the Barbara Family Foundation, which is an organization that's committed to assisting charities and children in need. She's a member of the Young Entrepreneur Council, which really does bring a lot to the party because authors have to think of themselves as entrepreneurs in that. She speaks at a variety of conferences, Writer's Digest, Exceptional Women in Publishing, Crowdfunding East conferences, and she will be at the AuthorU extravaganza, and she'll be doing a program on Thursday, May 7th. She'll be doing the Rounds with the Pros, which is, a deep dive time on the 8th. So we're very excited to have her in Denver, and you want to come and meet her. So with that, we're going to just jump right into it. Welcome back to the program, Amanda.
Thanks so much, Judith, for having me.
All right, so why don't we just kind of say, here we are in a brand new year, it's 2015. What's happened in the crowdfunding world that's really kind of evolved and changed since last year that you're seeing?
I'm seeing that many authors and publishers are actually, really understanding what crowdfunding means now. The term was very, very new when we started PubSlush a little over 3 years ago, and the industry has really taken a turn for the better. It's growing at a tremendous rate. People are excited about it. And people are seeing this as an opportunity to really gauge the market's interest on an upcoming book project, specifically with PubSlush, or whether it's a new business model, whether it's a new invention, whatever the case might be. It's really definitely growing at a really great rate. And it's a way to really take the people that support you in your everyday life and bring them online, showcase what you've been working on. In the book world, like Judith said, it's all about being an entrepreneur and using the right tools to be able to push your product out there in the right way and really see what the interest is.
So, that's really a whole new concept idea to put your toe in the water to see if does it attract supporters? Are people interested in your work? I mean, that's really a different way to think about it, I think.
Yeah, I think. We see a lot of writers. I talk to writers and authors every single day, and they put months and years into their books, time away from their children or time away from their spouse because this is their craft, this is what they love to do. So if you take that time, the building what you love, and then you rush it out and you don't put the time and money behind it to make it an amazing, high quality product, that's really what makes your book stand out. And I think that's what's really what crowdfunding is doing, is helping an author taking their book. this product that they've worked on for X amount of time and making it as the best it possibly can be. And that's really by gauging the interest and knowing, I'm not going to print 1,000 copies of this book if I can't even sell 100 on PubSlush. So it really does help you understand your market specifically.
Well, I really applaud you for just saying that, because one of my bugaboos, Amanda, is that it's so easy to publish in a variety of ways today, and there is so much garbage out here that says to me that you really don't care about me as your reader. You really don't care. You're just dumping stuff out there, and you're going to make me wade through it, of which I will dump it very quickly. I mean, in fact, a lot of times I won't even pick up stuff if it looks crappy. So. No,
absolutely. And I think as an author, you're doing, like you said, Judith, your reader a disservice. I mean, I've picked up books before that, if they have any errors within the first 10 pages, I will completely discard it and put it down, won't even look at it. I don't want to read a book that hasn't been properly edited, and your readers don't either. So make sure that you do the necessary steps. Don't rush it out. And if you don't have the funding, you can't afford, a really great editor, this is your solution.
Mm-hmm. And that's just really right on target. All right, so let's talk about some of these things about what PubSlush really excels in that separates you from the rest of the herd, because there are a lot of platforms out here that people can use for their crowdfunding. So let's talk about the differences.
Yeah, of course. I mean, first and foremost, we are a platform dedicated to the publishing industry. We work with hundreds of authors every month. We work with a great deal of publishers of all sizes. We work with editors. We work with great people like Judith and conferences. So, having your book on our platform just gets you more exposure in the industry that you want. If you're looking for an agent, if you're looking for a traditional publisher, if you're looking for the right eyes, that's our site. That's first and foremost, of course. I also think that my number one thing is we really do offer very personalized service. We help all of our authors. We'll take a call if you need. We offer optional service packages. If you've never built a reward level before and you really need more hands-on help, we're able to offer that to you for a really low fee. So there's very little risk for the author. And then, of course, just your basic things. We have a lower fee than some of the other platforms out there. PubSlush only takes 4% of whatever the author makes, which is huge. That extra 1% from other platforms or Indiegogo, if you don't make your goal, they take 9%. It's a big chunk of an author's change that they need to produce their book. So making sure you do your research when you are choosing a platform for crowdfunding is definitely important. Just because Kickstarter has 200,000 projects running at one time doesn't mean your project is going to succeed. To the contrary, it is not about the platform. It is about the project. It is about the marketing plan you have in place before you launch that will make you successful. I mean, we've seen authors raise over $30,000 on our platform, and that was actually, one of our highest raises was actually in the first 6 months of our business when we were just starting out and weren't well known. So, you do see that it's not necessarily about the popularity of the platform, but it's about the entrepreneur behind the project. And also the last thing, really quickly, Judith, is our funding model. Ours is really designed with authors in mind. So we have a flex funding model. What that means is we let our authors set a minimum goal and an overall goal. So the minimum amount you need to publish your book. Many authors come to us and say, I'm going to publish no matter what, but if I had more funds, I could do more, hire a better editor, get a more professional cover design, etc. So we require the minimum to be $500, but you as the author can set it. And as long as you meet that minimum, you get to keep anything after that. So it's not that discouraging. I met authors that have been on Kickstarter. They've raised $5,000, but their goal was $10,000, and they lost it all. And that $5,000 could really help them get their book out there.
And that to me, that's a tragedy. That to me is a tragedy because it's such hard work. Let me ask you this. So we have a minimum goal of 500, which should be a piece of cake. I just want to say all our listeners, $500 is nothing. In doing that, because there is processes going through. Now, I know one of the things I tell all my authors I work with is that, look at you, this is when you remove your shy, introverted side, if that's what you operate on, because you have to reach out to family and friends. You want to have people come in and support you so other people see that there's support for this project and this might be interesting and get my attention. So you come in. So reaching that $500 goal should be something you can do blindfolded. So when you talk about, Amanda, the 4% on the minimal amount, you have a $500 minimal living. Does that 4% apply from then on? Or do you have to reach your maximum to get the 4%? Tell me is there a graduated here?
So no, yeah. So we take whenever you are deemed successful. So that means whenever you hit your minimum goal, that's when we would take 4%. So we're not successful unless you're successful. So, that gives us a lot of, motivation to really help the author, to make sure their marketing ideas are in place, making sure that they have the strategy. I mean, the biggest mistake I see every single day is an author that launches a campaign on PubSlush, and they launch and they tell the whole world that the campaign is still at zero. They've had no people come there first and support it. And that's really important. You don't want to, as a stranger, if I got an email and I checked out the book and I really loved it, but it was sitting at zero, I'm more hesitant than if it already had, $100, $500, $1,000 there. You want to be a part of something exciting. So my biggest recommendation is always having, 24 hours or 48 hours to get, 5 to 10 people that that they are going to support you even if you're at zero. They're your biggest fans, whether it's relatives, whether it's coworkers, whoever it might be. Get them there first before you announce it to the world. Don't get so excited you put it on your Twitter and Facebook, because that reaches a huge audience, and you might not be ready for that in the first 24 hours.
We're going to take our first break, but what Amanda has just said is gold. Is gold. Everyone listen to this. You've got to have seeding before you announce it and blow it out to the world, because that seeding is the shout out saying, hey, look us over. We've got something here. Other people are already in play. And that is so critical to your success, which is what I want you to be. And certainly Amanda and her team at PubSlush want you to be. And that's where it's at. So we're going to be right back with more nuggets of gold with Amanda Barbara, PubSlush. You're listening to AuthorU, your guide to book publishing.
Is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Many of us have dreamed of writing a book.
Some of us even have.
Then the hard work starts.
You'll need an editor.
Who will design the cover or typeset the pages?
Who will format the ebook?
If you're a business owner, consultant, or coach with a serious message and expertise to share, the team of experts at 1106 Design can guide you through the maze.
They've helped more than 1,000 authors create top-quality books and avoid the not-so-reputable self-publishing companies.
Learn more at 1106design.com.
Then call Michelle at 602-866-3226. 1106 Design.
Is there a book in you or another? AuthorU will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. AuthorU brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through AuthorU's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, AuthorU is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join AuthorU today through its website at AuthorU.org. Follow AuthorU on Twitter at AuthorU, and on Facebook at AuthorU, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. AuthorU, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
Reaching out from the heartland of the United States with quality programming, this is TogiNet Radio.
First impressions are everything in the world of book publishing. Whether your book is an ebook, a print version, or both, your book cover needs to pop, sizzle, and sparkle to immediately capture the attention of your audience. And your book's interior needs to be just as dynamic and reflect the professionalism your readers demand. Nick Sellinger of NZ Graphics has won numerous national and international book awards for his cover designs and interior layouts. With over 20 years of experience in graphic design, he knows what it takes to create award-winning books and the many promotional pieces that authors need, such as posters, banners, postcards, one-sheets, business cards, logos, and more. Visit ncgraphics.com and see what authors and publishers have to say about their award-winning books and how NZ Graphics can make your book the success it was meant to be. That's nzgraphics.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right. Is there a crowdfund in your life as an author, as a writer, for either newbies or for people who are who have really come to the plate? I mean, I know we've got one of our authors who's going to be doing a program with PubSlush, actually a very big program. This year she will be putting it together. I mean, we've done all the backbone to it, and that she's getting ready to kind of do the rollout, but some very big rewards in it. And so, Amanda, one of the things I'd like to do is talk about rewards, some unique rewards, some everyday type of rewards, but a lot of authors seem to get stuck on the rewards and the perk side of it and how to think about that. Can you help them?
Of course. I mean, think of rewards as something that would entice your reader, and you want them at all different price points. So you want to make people comfortable to be able to support you. So if they can only give you, $5, that's okay. That shows support. It shows that they believe in what your mission is. Maybe they're not a reader, but they are a supporter. So making sure when you're crafting, you fit in price points or rewards that are financially feasible for who you'll be reaching out to. I also always suggest, if you're creating rewards, that are over maybe something like $50, ask, friends or people that you'd be targeting, would you pay $100 for this package? And get some advice from people you trust, people that you think would be your target audience and who the ideal supporter of that level would be. You don't want to spend time creating reward levels that never get sold. But definitely I would say the most popular reward levels on PubSlush are the ebook and print book, of course. That's where your supporter, a.k.a. your reader, that's what they're looking for. We've seen authors that have done, they're doing a trilogy and they've bundled the 3 books in a package for a higher level at it. So the reader's actually getting all 3 books at a somewhat discounted rate, but you're now finding a new reader that hasn't read any of your books before. We've seen authors who have done packages where they sell a certain number of their books, and that's targeted towards book clubs. We've seen experts, similar to someone like Judith, where she would actually be able to give some of her services maybe at a discounted rate for supporting her book in advance. And maybe that's, on Skype, a 30-minute Skype session. You can do that as an author. Maybe you want to actually offer, a Q&A with a book club after they read your book, and you can actually come on in, come on in on a live Skype chat, and you can answer some questions. Be as creative as possible here. Think outside of the box. And, of course, like I mentioned earlier in the show, if you do need help with this, if this is not your strong suit, do not lose sleep over it. That's what the PubSlush team is here for.
You know what? You just said something, in that segment that was so critical, is that reaching out. It's one of the challenges that we see with authors with their book covers. They think their book covers should look exactly a certain way, and they think they're looking at it from their perspective and not from the buyer's perspective. And they so many times miss the mark. And what you said is, what reward would entice a potential buyer, a supporter, to be involved in it? So reaching out to those potential buyers of your book, supporters of your book, what would entice them, draw them in, is a fabulous advice. And few get that. Few would even think of doing that. So thank you for adding that to the mix, because I'm certainly going to be saying it and giving you the credit for it.
No worries. You can always say it. Take the credit. That's no worries to me.
But the reality is, it's the same thing with book covers. They think that their book cover should be a certain way, and what they don't get is it goes to the buyer. It goes to the buyer who will bring them in, not what your mom thinks, not what the neighbor next door thinks or your best friend, the buyer. And the same thing adds into this. All right.
Yeah, but if you're getting a few cover designs made, I always suggest to a lot of our authors, put it as part of something enticing for your crowdfunding campaign. Drive traffic back to your crowdfunding campaign and put 3 covers for display, and and have them leave comments in the comment wall of which cover they love the most. It gets the readers enticed. They're part of the decision-making process. They're a part of bringing your book to life, and they should be, because they're helping you fund it in advance. So, that's an exciting thing that people, it takes only a few minutes to say, I love cover 2, but now they're back on your book page again, and maybe they're going to share it with friends.
That's a great idea. And so on the comment page, it's not polling, it's just comments, right?
Yeah, you can leave comments for the author. So that's a great way for, to start conversation with your readers, start, something like a poll or something like a contest, or run something that's exciting and enticing that will drive traffic back to your page. I always say, you can launch your crowdfunding campaign.
Well, there you go. And we have it. Right. So that's what you want to do, and really bring that together. Now, the other thing is, and Amanda, are you there? Because I lost your voice.
Sorry, I hit the mute by accident. Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, listen, I did that at the tail end of a show yesterday. All right, so here we go. That I want to talk about, you talk about this was a good idea. You can do crowdfunding as a style of marketing your book pre-publication. Did you want to add on anything onto that? I know that was one of your key points that you wanted to cover.
I think definitely anyone listening, and if you're listening and you're like, crowdfunding isn't for you, do not worry. It's not for everyone. If you want to just be able to sell, and get pre-orders of your book out there in advance before you actually hit the publish button, we can also help with that. Think of the PubSlush platform as a pre-publication tool. The biggest advantage that PubSlush has over the other platforms Judith mentioned before is that we give you all of your reader data. And that reader data is invaluable as an author. You need to be building your list. Do you have an email list built with names and emails? How many are on that list? Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 10,000? That list needs to be ever growing. If you are, I always say my biggest advice for an author is, do you have a business card that has the information that you would need for a reader to be able to find your book pretty quickly if you meet someone that's interested? Have links that, won't ever go away, like your PubSlush link is yours for life. We allow you to put your buy links in once the book is published. Judith has a page with us right now where we can drive traffic to her Amazon buy page for her book. So anyone that stumbles on Judith's book on PubSlush can then buy it. So make sure you have a business card. Make sure you're promoting. But I guess back to Judith's original question, PubSlush has evolved to not only include crowdfunding, but also include pre-order campaigns where you still get that reader data and those market analytics that you love so much. But you aren't limited to just having a crowdfunding campaign. You don't need to set a goal. You can just sell as many copies as you want. And that's an interesting way to look at pre-publication marketing as well.
Well, I think pre-publication marketing is always critical. I've always tried to drill that into our authors. And I know I've just started putting up some information. I know I have the AuthorU book up on our PubSlush page and information about our what we're doing. I'm going to be adding, I had a video now I can add for Snappy, Sassy, Salty, and actually inside goodies, because Amanda says, get these up. So I'm moving a little slow, but I am getting it done. It's on my to-do list. And basically, you can end up putting all your stuff up. So they can come to it. And I know Amanda will be talking a lot about it at the AuthorU Extravaganza, May 7th to 9th, when she is here speaking. And by the way, I wanted to let everybody know that all the information is up. The agendas are up, all the speakers. We have an amazing entertainment on Friday night where Jimmy Wayne, who is a top country musician, and he's the author of the book, The Beautiful Walk, where he walked across America supporting the foster system. And he will be here talking about his book, talking about his walk journey, and also singing and entertaining us a little bit. And that's all included in your fee. We're very excited about having him. He just committed to it last week. So the other thing is all about, here's one of the things I think, Amanda, that is really fabulous. And I know we just have a couple of minutes to our next break, but I'd like to open up the window here, is how the crowdfunding, because of the way you do it, which is so unique and different from Indiegogo and Kickstarter, which are just drop in, do it, follow it, and there's no development of the relationship. And what you do is really show authors how to start developing the author-reader relationship, which is totally unique.
Yeah, I think it's really, for us, we have like I mentioned before, a huge focus on the importance of pre-publication marketing and the importance of really understanding who your audience is. If you run a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign with PubSlush for 30 days before you publish your book, and you have maybe 1 or 2 books sold, you're not ready to publish yet. You need to be doing a bit more marketing. You need to spend another 30, 60, 90 days on finding out who your audience are. What's your plan on selling books? Do you have any book signings set up? Are you going to your local library and chatting about what inspired you to write this? What are your ideas? And that's definitely, of course, something, like I said, that we help you with. And a lot of first-time authors, they're new to this game. They don't understand what they need to be doing. So having these little ideas, little tricks of the trade, how you can bring your book not only online, and sharing it on social media, but don't underestimate, and I know you know this, Judith, don't underestimate the power of your local community and really being able to get the book out there in a more of a local way.
All right. So with that, we'll be right back with a lot more with crowdfunding, PubSlush, and Amanda Barber.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Since 1987, Color House Graphics has set the standard for quality book production. Whether you decide to print a small quantity of books or need a large print run, depend on Color House to help you. You'll receive professional help and advice the moment you reach one of our representatives. If you mention hearing about us on your guide to book publishing with Judith Briles, we will provide you a discount on the first order you place. To speak with a project manager, call us toll-free at 800-454-1916 or visit us at www.colorhousegraphics.com.
This is the TogiNet Radio Network, radio with a cutting edge.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers, creating beautiful and well-made books. We're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Crowdfunding, it's really, it's the angel. It's angel funding that companies have used for years, startup type companies. And authors are startups in their own way. And crowdfunding came on the scene just a few years ago. It's now, I think probably over $2 billion have been raised. And maybe Amanda, Barbara with PubSlush and update me on the latest numbers. But a lot of money has been raised, and a lot of money for books have been raised. And this is a great way to raise money for your project, but there's work that goes to it. And you need to understand that. And I would encourage you to probably re-listen to this program, because Amanda has gone through some key tips of how to be successful in that. But I think what's important to ask is, PubSlush is an evolving company, and I think is on the forefront of seeing what's new, what's needed. And one of the challenges for all authors is, okay, now I got a book. How do I fulfill services? And so do you have a solution to some of these things, Amanda, with what's going on?
So, not a solution that's 100% bulletproof here, but I think that you have a book. We kind of talked about this before. You have a book. What do you need to really make it a reality, and what do you need to make it a success? And I always say, I tell a lot of my authors, I'm actually working with one pretty closely now, and spoke with her yesterday, and I said, go into your local bookstore, your local Barnes & Noble. Look at the books that are there, that are on the tables, the bestsellers, the most popular. Find a book that's in your same genre, maybe something similar to yours, and what do you love about it? What the cover, look at the back, look at how it's laid out, look at the inside layout. If your book isn't like your favorite book, if it's not the quality of your favorite book that you could walk into a bookstore and find, then it's probably not as high quality and it won't be in that bookstore. And you want to, as an author, you should want to be able to produce the highest quality book, because that's what you want your readers to be able to read. It's okay to have, a sample of your book sent to you and show it to people, let them point out maybe things that are wrong or maybe things that don't look right. I always like to say, hold your book in your hand before you order 1,000 copies. I've heard horror stories. I know you have, Judith, as well, of just authors that have received books that, are just not what they were looking for. So I think that's, definitely taking your time and making sure that your book is the best it can be.
Well, I think the problem is a lot of times the authors get hooked into groups or they get into some of these, they think they're publishing, they're being published by someone, and what they don't get, Amanda, is that they're paying for someone to produce and print their book. They're really not publishing. They're not a publisher, and they don't understand the differences that are out here. And they get hooked into these things that say, oh, well, if you get 5,000 copies of your book, we can get the cost down to $3. Well, I would hope so. But the reality is, you're not don't do that. You're doing yourself a huge disservice, and that you've got to really test the market. But what I'm after here is that I know that PubSlush has got some new programs coming up. So let's talk about what you've got coming along that is really unique and is really going to separate you even further from what the others are offering.
Yeah, it's like an exciting year for PubSlush. We really took 2014 to grow and really understand the market, be really present in the industry, and really grow our reputation. And we're really happy with 2014 brought to us. But 2015 comes with a lot of new features. We recently partnered with Ingram Content Group. For those listening, Ingram is one of the leading distributors of print books in the country. So we partner with them to be able to actually roll out our own PubSlush fulfillment model. So I was just explaining to Judith on the break that right now, all crowdfunding across the board is a self-fulfillment model, meaning you get readers or supporters to come and buy your books or your ebooks or your higher tiered rewards, and then it's your responsibility to fill those rewards. And that's why the percentage that the companies take is so incredibly low. But we've been asked to be able to help authors facilitate filling those orders, especially the print books. That takes a lot of time. So we'll be able to actually do fulfillment for an author for a bit of a higher fee. So we're really excited about that, and all those numbers will report to the New York Times bestseller list. So that is a great thing if you're looking to sell a lot of books, and if you're looking to meet your own personal goal. Those numbers will definitely count for that, and that will be rolled out by March 1st. And then also keep an eye out on reader initiatives that we're rolling out in early April. Things that will be geared to giving back to our readers. Free books and programs that will really help. Put the fun back into reading. Get rewarded for reading. I always reference, growing up. I don't know if you did this, if any of our listeners did this, but on your summer break, you go to the local library and they'd have, incentives for reading as many books over the summer as possible, and you got different rewards every month. Yeah. So similar to that, we want to make reading more fun, and everyone's busy. There's so many things you can be doing now, but it's nothing as gratifying as reading a book. And I think, if we have some incentives built in, I think that would make everyone interested in reading as fast as they possibly can.
So since I do know a little bit about Ingram, and I'm a huge supporter of Ingram, I mean, they are the gorilla. They are the gorilla out there when it comes to presence and distribution and things. So if your relationship has a fulfillment to them, are you automatically in their catalog that goes out to all the bookstores?
No, your book has to be registered with Ingram already for us to be able to fulfill it. However, if it is not, we can also help you with that.
All right. So is that going to be tied in possibly with the Ingram Spark program?
So yes, Ingram Spark is amazing. And this actually, I wanted to touch on, I didn't get a chance to, but I wanted to touch on what Judith mentioned before about, you think you're publishing with a certain company and they're not what you expected. I think it's really important, and I stress this so much, is doing your research on these companies, is really being able to see who are you using. Are you using, Ingram Spark? Are you using CreateSpace? Are you using Lulu? Are you using Fast Pencil? There's pros and cons to each company. So you need to look into, read reviews, look at books that have been published using these services, and make sure you understand, what money you're putting in, what products you're getting. I think that is a huge misunderstanding, to your point, Judith, that people, rush to publish and they go, they sign contracts that, a percentage to a company that didn't do anything for their book. So definitely read the fine print, know who you're getting, who you're using to publish your book.
There are so many misnomers out there, and that you have to be so careful. I mean, maybe it's time to do another show on the predators out here, because there are so many people who will become predators, and some of them are very subtle, and you think you're in with a major, and all of a sudden you end up in publishing hell, and then others are very blatant about it. But the bottom line is, for all of you, we've said this before, and this is kind of a side note, but whoever you deal with, you need to do some searching. And you just go into Google and put the name of the company, the name of the person, and put problems, complaints, cons, ripoffs, lawsuits, scams behind those names, and do research, and you need to read everything. This is author beware time. This is author beware time. I mean, no one's going to hit 100% all the time. Some things just don't work with some people. But the reality is that you can find out very quickly. And if you see a lot of grumbling out there, it's shame on you if you jump into bed with these people. That's all I can say. Shame on you.
Well, I also think it's, even if you're self-publishing in today's day and age, you don't have to do it alone. There's people like Judith or teams like PubSlush that, PubSlush, we don't publish. We're not a publisher. We don't edit. We don't do cover design, but we are a platform with a team that cares about authors. So, if you have a question, I'm personally more than happy to tell you, that, Judith and her team are amazing and she runs a really amazing conference. Ask questions of people that have experience. If I have no experience with someone, I'll be honest, but, find someone that you do trust within the industry and, have them help you guide to make the right decision. Don't go at it alone. You don't have to.
And that's it. You don't have to go it alone. And actually it's a lot more fun if you don't. If you've got other people playing in it. I mean, that's what I love to do. I mean, I get such incredible joy when I see a book come in, all this work we've done and here's the baby's in my hand. And then I make sure I have copies to give to everybody on the team who has been involved in the book, whether it's the editor or the cold eye reader or the cover designer. I want everyone to experience it because actually I want them to do shout outs to their followers too, to support the author because I believe strongly in that. But it's really a joy to see some of these books that roll out, that they finally get here and the excitement that the author has and to share in that. So do take advantage of that. All right. So we have about a minute for our final break, but I want to spend some time about launching your book. And so if Amanda's game, we can start the process and we'll take a break and come back on that. And then do some regrouping and recapping of what crowdfunding can do for you and some of the initial steps that you need to do before you step into that. I think that that's really important. So let's talk about launching your book. How can we go out with a bang?
Well, I'm, preaching again, but it's all about taking your time. Do not rush. Impulse publishing will not be successful. Just because you're on Amazon doesn't mean you're going to sell 1 million copies of your book. To the contrary, you're one of 6 million fish in a sea. So having a plan, having a strategy, having readers in place, that's why pre-order is important. Get your books in the hands of readers in advance. Understand are there bloggers out there that touch your audience that you'd love to reach? Don't hesitate to do ebook giveaways. The cost for the author is really, really low, but it gets your book in the hand of readers, and hopefully that'll, spur them to talk about it with their friends and family, and also to be able to get you some reviews, for a very low cost to you.
Which is very important. All right, so Amanda, hold that because we'll do the also when we come back. Final break. Amanda Barber, PubSlush, crowdfunding, how to raise monies and be successful. We'll be right back.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today, 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
This is the TogiNet Radio Network. Radio with a cutting edge.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so we have been with really an enlightening, I think, hour with Amanda Barber with PubSlush, because there is a lot going on. I'm a huge believer in crowdfunding. I've loved the success that I've had the opportunity to work with several of our authors, all of which have been successful and overfunded, which is always fun to do. But they worked hard to make that happen. They had unique rewards and prizes that were tied in specifically with their programs. For example, one author who had a book called Life Before the Lottery, but her skill is a photographer. She does wonderful author photos, and she's done all my new photos. She finally made me sit down, actually not sit down, move around, but I finally did a professional photo shoot, and those pictures are starting to come out. And that it's getting her to do it, and she did some very unique things with her rewards, including the grand prize like reward, of which several people took. That was over $1,000. Was she came and did a photo shoot for that. So tying in with your expertise, even if it wasn't about the book, but it brings that skill that they know about, could be very successful. So what I wanted to do with Amanda was, these launches successes. I asked her to hold a thought and then do some recaps. So everyone can, kind of a sandwich here. We started, here, and here's how to remind you what you need to do. So Amanda, let's continue with that, launching your book with a big bang.
Mm-hmm. We were mentioning how, of course, like we said earlier on the show, that you take a lot of time to write the book and get it edited and get a great cover design. So make sure that you're putting the same amount of time and attention also into your marketing plan, making sure that you're strategic in what you're going to do to make sure you get the most amount of readers out of the gate. That first, 30 days of publication, those are the most crucial days. You want as much traffic driven, as many books sold. Of course, marketing never ends for your book. Your book might be 5-10 years old, and you should still be marketing it. So making sure you release it with a bang is definitely crucial. Making sure that you have readers that have read it, and I also have seen many authors. They give their book away to family and friends, and I think that's a big disservice. Those are the people that would most likely buy it and support you the most. So make sure. That's why another great benefit of doing a crowdfunding campaign or doing a pre-order campaign with PubSlush is you can drive the traffic to the people that want to buy your book and want to support you early on, and those are the people that will hopefully read it fast and get you a great review and then share share the great content and title you just wrote with their friends and their network. So don't underestimate the power of the crowd. Don't underestimate the power of your network's network to really leverage the sales of your book.
So when you talk about, and I love you brought up the factor of your network's network, because what's really important is that shout out. And I always call those your joint venture partners, that people who love you, and they could be colleagues in your genre skill. For example, I have a lot of pals in publishing and writing. So when I have something new, they're the first people I go to, because guess why? Because that's their skill. Their crowd who follows them also are in the writing publishing arena. And so if I'm writing for writing publishing, which is what I write about at this time in my career, then it's going to match what their crowd is looking for, hopefully. So it's that synergy that you're always looking for. It's critical for your success. It's critical for your success. All right. So, Amanda, we have a couple of minutes here. Let's go through, and what can we go through, and just let's do a recap, kind of a 1, 2, 3. If you're thinking of a campaign coming in, and even the content they need. And I always tell them, here's number one on my list is number one, who is your ideal reader? And it blows me away how few authors really know who their reader is.
Yeah, and your reader, it will definitely evolve. If you say my reader is women, what type of women? Where, how old are they? Where do they live? What do they do? What are their hobbies? There's definitely ways to bring that, that general category of women down to really be targeted, and that will help you target bloggers, will help you target local community locations to actually be able to do signings and readings. That will help you be able to target on forums on social media or use hashtags, so things like that. So to recap, I would definitely say the flow here is, first and foremost, the writing is super important. Getting the story that you want and something that you're proud of and something that you think your readers will enjoy. Secondly, of course, you want to be able to find an editor, cover designer, and team that will help produce the highest quality book that you possibly can. And that can definitely be pricey, which brings us to our next point, is and what this whole chat was about today is, if you are nervous about, taking the financial gamble on a book, you can crowdfund and raise the money before you publish and really understand your market, mitigate your financial risks, and sell copies of your book in advance. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely a great option. It's completely risk-free. So it's a great starting point. You have nothing to lose, and if anything, a lot of money to gain to put towards your book or to pay yourself back for some of the money you've already outlaid. So definitely, producing high quality, and if you don't have the funds, crowdfunding. If you do choose to crowdfund or conduct a pre-order campaign with PubSlush, the biggest thing is creating a marketing plan. And that marketing plan isn't going to take you a day or 2 days or a week. It's going to take you 30 days to create possibly and execute properly. So don't rush. There's no rush to get your book out there. The longer you are strategic and you're thorough and you plan, the more success your book will see. Don't be, and also make sure that you're figuring out what the best time is for you. If you're in the middle of your son's high school graduation and you're moving in 2 weeks to a new house and, you're just getting a new puppy, this might not be the time to publish your book. It might be, might need 6 months to really get it to where you need in regards to your marketing plan. So timing is everything, and make sure that the timing is right for you. Be an entrepreneur, like Judith said when we started this. Be an entrepreneur in your book. Your book is your business. If you run or own or operate a business, aside from being an author, this is a great complement for you. It's a great tool to use in your business, and it should just be an extension of the business you already run. So the biggest takeaways are, do your research, ask some other experts in the industry that you trust about some companies that you might not know or have any history working with, and know that, the PubSlush team is always here to help. We love working with authors.
Let me come back to your timing remark, because something is really critical to understand, and it's just not the puppy thing, which amused me, because they can be distracting. I mean, I play with them, or if you have a new baby showing up, As a grandmother, if one of my kids was going to have a new baby, I'm going, because I love babies. I know I will be so distracted. So, but this is not the time you plan on taking that European trip if your book is just rolling out, or certainly during your crowdfunding campaign. It's I try to encourage people to keep it in a 30-day realm. Amanda, we didn't talk about the average, what's a good time frame. Do you want to pop that in real quick?
I think your crowdfunding or your pre-order campaign should be a 30-day campaign.
Okay.
I also say if you're going to do a crowdfunding campaign, segue that right into a pre-order campaign. So if people missed out on supporting you through crowdfunding, they can still pre-order your book. So I think 30 days before your pub date is definitely a great time to start pushing the traffic there. But I think marketing should start, you should be marketing from day one. During the writing process, definitely.
All right. You always tell people, I'm the author of the forthcoming book, blah, blah, blah. You get that in your email signature. Everyone, please understand that. This is part of the business side. I'm the author of the forthcoming book. Put the title of the book. Even if you tweak the title, you just get it out there, because having the intention is part of the process in doing that. But let me come back to the timing. What I want to say is that when you're doing a crowdfunding, you are here. You are here. This is work. Let me tell you, it's work. You're on top of it. You're going to be staying engaged. We didn't even come into, the process of staying engaged with the people coming along, that you will upload new things, maybe new images, new ahas that are coming along. You want to really let them know, the people who have supported you, because guess what? You may need to go back. You may want to go back and offer maybe another reward and say, if you want to up the ante, here's what I'm throwing into the pile. And I've had people come in and throw in, I had a couple of people throw in a couple $1,000s for one of our campaigns when Charles actually added into the ante as he got closer to the end of his run. So do that kind of thing, and that you stay put. And then when you're launching your book, launching with a bang means you're present. So you're not going to be going to Europe for that 2-week vacation that you really need desperately. I get it. I understand needing vacations, but that you have to be present to support it. And once it gets started, then you can, maybe take a few days off. But launching a book is big. And it's not something you want to do in a lighthearted manner. At least that's my experience for author success in that. Right. So, Amanda, thank you so much for being with us today. Crowdfunding is critical. PubSlush, I think, is the place to go for authors. They've got a lot of new things going on, and they are the only community that is really there to make you successful, and you don't get lost in the crowd of a gazillion. So with that, thanks again. Thanks again. We'll be back next week with another great show on AuthorU, your guide to book publishing. I'm Judith Briles.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each week,